Welcome back. This is Sealchan, and this is my Minecraft Alpha 1.1 progressive Longplay Let's Play. We have reached the end of round 25. I have completed the research phase. There are no new blocks progressing at this point. So, this episode will simply be about what we did in round 25 and what's to come in round 26. But before I can begin, I'm going to return to Alsea and put on the gold armor that I wear during these episodes and during the research phase. Oop, somebody got up. So, let's go. Whenever I travel at night, I draw the curtains in my room so I can see better in the dark of the game. Okay. I'm gonna go this way. If you're new to this series, guess I'm new to this game. Just walked off a cliff. If you're new to this series, that does not look good. Today's episode is about reviewing what has been done and looking forward to what will be done. Since the very first episode, I have played this game in a way where I plan what I do in the form of tasks. I make a list of those tasks, and then during a round of gameplay, I complete those tasks. At the end of the round comes the... Dang, look at all those creepers. Comes the research phase. I am going to try to get home without actually getting in a fight. It may not be possible. I can take care of this guy. I have a chance. Oop, here he comes. Let's see. What was that sound? Oh, a creeper falling. Boo-hoo. Alright, I think I made it. Where was I? This tells me where I am. the end of a round, and I've completed all the tasks, I enter the research phase. I won't get into that too much right now, just to say that part of that phase is to determine what it is I'm going to do next. And once I've completed that, then we move on. And we move on to the next round and continue our work. Should have left this. Well, I guess we'll be back. And this episode is all about reporting on that progress. Every item and every block, as I play this game, I'm looking for it to have meaning, so that when I build, it has a little bit of the character of world building. I also use self-limiting rules to add meaning to my gameplay. The reason I'm heading to Alsea before talking about round 25 and round 26 is because of gold. In this game, and in Alpha 1.1, oops, wrong room, gold struggles to have a meaning. Okay. So I had to give gold armor and gold tools some kind of meaning. And that meaning I've decided is that I would wear them as ceremonial objects during the research phase. Now, my goal is to put little to no use on these items. And for my armor, obviously I'm failing. So as I progress around the world that I've built, I have to be careful. Avoiding the use of a gold sword. Ooh, check out my head. I do allow myself to use my bow and arrows. For defensive purposes. Okay, well, here I am in the kitchen, and I'm all dressed up. And of course, the music has to start. So let's listen. love the Minecraft music. So, the reason I came out here, just on the outside of the fence line of the Alsea home base, is that I'm planning to build something here which I call the Lit Grove. Just means that I'm going to build a tree farm that's well lit. Now, I've been doing this in my past games. I think it has a certain aesthetic charm, but it also serves the need for quick and easy accumulation of wood at a scale that is scalable. That is, all the trees are kept more or less separate. They're all lit, so they have a chance to grow at night. So you can take down a single tree or many trees and replant and continue on your merry way. So that is the goal. Probably the first thing I'm going to do around 26. And this is the area. Now I'm thinking of starting small and expanding over several rounds. So it'll be something that kind of build out. And between the Alsea estuary park and here, there's a good amount of nice level ground that we can expand into. So anyway, that's the first item of discussion for round 26. Now, the Alsea deep mine is next on my list, but is not convenient to where I'm at. Let's head to the port. As I play this game, I'm also designing the process. Sometimes those designs will not impact the current game. Sometimes I'm so excited about giving them a try that I make an adjustment to my existing game in order to give the idea a try. Ooh, perfect. Oh, night's falling, so time to start being careful. Here we have the Origin Monument. It was a series of trees planted close together so that my hope was that it would grow up into what appeared to be a slightly hollowed out but still living extra big tree. Bigger than, well, this is another example. 4 saplings planted together creates that monstrosity. This is a little different. And after waiting patiently, this is the result. There's a ladder up the interior of the trunk and a platform. And the platform describes the 4 directions and lets you know that things in Alpha are not what you might expect. The Origin Monument is now completed. I do not plan any further work on that. Oh, and I should say, the Origin Monument is located precisely where the coordinates are 0, 0. Obviously, we are not in 0, 0. go. Okay. Now, the port. Here's the fort. This is the lighthouse. And we have been doing a revamp of how we do a coastal expedition. Coastal expedition involves walking out along the shore, then building or crafting a boat and coming back. What I discovered is if you start off early in the morning, you walk out on the shore, you collect clay and bring it back to the clay quarry storage shed. If you keep walking and you don't find any clay, it turns out this shoreline goes all the way back to here, day 1. My goal is to explore the coastline in this manner for 2 days of walking. So, in the last round, I went to this marker. We walked that coastline, it just goes around like this and out. We found clay, so we stopped to take a dig, and we brought our clay back. Well, the next round, we're going to do the same. This time, we do have a good chance that we'll start here early in the morning, walk that coastline for a full day. Once we reach the end of the second day's walk, we'll place a marker. That particular expedition, the coastline expedition up the left-hand coast from Alsea, will be done. We'll see. All right. What's next on the list? Oh, yes. Part of the design of my gameplay is that I don't want to spend too much consecutive time doing any one thing. So, if I find something that's compelling, it requires a lot of time, then I find a way to break it up to be completed over multiple rounds. Hi guys, I can't kill you. Bummer. One of those projects is this scenic railway. Over multiple rounds, I built this railway station in a switch house, where if you select the switch, it changes the direction of the track here. The circuit behind there makes it so that whichever switch you hit always switches this. Anyway, this railroad is destined to be built all the way around the mountains of Divide. We've gotten about to here. We got a long ways to go. Fortunately, although iron is hard to come by, we have opened up a second mine in Edgewood, this being Alsea. Our original mine is right here. Edgewood's off that way. Our second mine now is producing iron pretty nicely. Every time I achieve a stack of iron, I say let's use some of that to build out the scenic railway. So I'm happy to announce in round 26 we'll be able to continue this project. Okay, what's next on the list? That actually takes care of everything in Alsea. Did you? Yeah, well, have fun. Oh, I'm so tempted, but I won't. Yeah. You can trap mobs in minecarts in Alpha 1.1. Just so you know. We're going to head now to Bellevue, where we'll pick up the conversation about the Alsea deep mine and then talk about what's happening in Bellevue. We're going to mostly run and shoot arrows for self-defense. See what time of night it is. Not too long. Okay, nothing like the safety of the Hobbit trail, Hobbit tunnel. Okay, let's see. It wouldn't hurt to see if I got any arrows here. Somehow I don't think so. No. Let's see if I can make it to the deep mine entrance. The Alsea mine we passed on our way out here. Might be able to get past this guy. We passed it. Took a long time, but we found our way down to the lava lake level. This is a shortcut. Happens to be located under the region I call Bellevue. Anyway, here we are. The Alsea deep mine. This is our lava quarry. Getting down there a bit. More lava here. In the last round, and in this round, of course, we're going to continue our strip mining operation. Strip mining is just as you would think. Carve these mine shafts separated by 2 spaces. One up, one down. Looking for those diamonds. We did that in the last round. We'll do it again in this round. We are in the process of attempting to achieve a stack of diamonds. So, it's been a long haul, in part because our coordinates are not both positive x and positive y, or z. I decided to go ahead and play with that. We haven't achieved diamonds, we haven't crafted any diamond items, or any of that. But we'll get there. I've decided I needed to open up exploration. We're going to have new mines, a new deep mine. We'll get there before we do it. Okay, back in Bellevue. Let's see what the list says. Bellevue is mostly about trail work. But we're talking about one thing. It's not in Bellevue. In previous iteration of coastal expeditions. As soon as I built the port, I started on the coastal expedition. So I've actually explored quite a bit of the coast in both directions. Up this left-hand coast and up this right-hand coast. But I put a pause on that, but not before I discovered on a beach a skeleton spawner, just buried in the sand, right there, near the surface. So many rounds ago, we built a mob spawning farm. It brought the skeletons up an elevator, so you don't even have to go underground. Just walk into a room on the beach and collect. What do they drop? Arrows, that's right. Collect your arrows. If I ever run out, I know just what to do. Anyway, that was a while ago. And then I learned that in Alpha, even 1.0, there are music discs. I had never seen one in a dungeon or in a monster room, aka dungeon. But apparently you can get them by doing the old skeleton kills a creeper routine. So in round 25, I added what I call a music disc farm or music disc mob trap. As I fed skeletons up to the surface, in my skeleton spawner, I built a little room where I can trap a creeper, by getting it to chase me. Once it's trapped, I go into another little room opposite the creeper from the skeletons. The skeletons see me, they shoot arrows at me, but the creeper kindly blocks those arrows. Once the creeper is dead, I go around and I pick up the music disc that had dropped. I built that mob trap in the last game. In this game, what I'm planning to do is gather the music discs that I got the hard way. There are only 2. I'm going to gather them up from all the hunting blinds. And I'm going to bring them to the music disc farm for storage. There'll be a central storage place for that resource. So, I may even try to get another one there. Anyway, that I can look forward to in around 26. Alright, let's talk about trail work. Now, I've made the decision. I'm still going to do it. That I am no longer going to show on camera the work I do building trails. Going forward, the only thing I will show is what I call a trail walk. Once a trail is completed, then I slowly walk along that trail, admiring the views, stopping at each of the points of interest I may have created. Now I'm tracing out roughly the Bellevue Mountains Trail, which has been the first epic trail build, which is nearly completed. And most of the trail work done in Bellevue is a some point attached to this long loop trail. So in round 25, what did we do? Behind this building, even if I weren't there, I'm not sure you would see, there's a small triangular pond I built between this Alsea deep mine trail, connecting the opposite side of this to the Bellevue mountain trail. There's a small creek that flows out of that lake, or pond, down into this sunken lake. So that was one of our little builds. What's next? Let's see, we did a trail walk. Oh no, we're going to do a trail walk at that short trail in the next round, which I will show. I'll just walk from this deep mine entrance out along the trail to where it meets up with the Bellevue Mountains Trail. It'll be a short video, no doubt. Regarding the Bellevue Mountains Trail, we have built so much. But the final thing is in this sandy area I was originally going to build and started to work on in round 25, what I was going to call a Zen garden. However, as I was starting that work, I had an inspiration. I guess we can just tiptoe over there. I decided to try building in a whole different manner than I have been so far. I tend to avoid the decorative and even naturalistic use of blocks. But this time I went ahead and did it. I built this small rocky outcrop using all the stony pieces. I do like it, but after I finished it, and it took a while, and I've got more ground to cover, I had misgivings about it. It is nice. I was going to put in cactus here, but it is not in keeping with the build style that I've been practicing for this series. Part of the reason that it concerns me a little bit is that this sort of building can become intense for me. And this wasn't so bad. As soon as I push blocks past their functional use, it kind of stretches my mind and makes me want to push further. It's kind of like a thing with me and chewing gum. I get some chewing gum and my psychology takes over. How long should I chew it? I can still chew. I'm going to keep doing it. Is there any flavor left? It's just me, how my mind works. So after almost completing this little rocky outcrop, I found myself thinking, what can I do to make this even more interesting? And I also had misgivings. So this is what I did in round 25. Told myself I would continue this work in round 26. But I am, in fact, going to do something a little different. Taking that little bit of inspiration do is turn that sandy area into more of a cactus garden. And now we've got the music. So I will take a break and we can listen. Alright, the music is finished. And I'll try to be very careful. Let's talk about the trail builds. I spoke about the Zen garden and my plans in round 26 to build a little more formal cactus garden. Cactus does not really have a product that leads to crafting at this point. It does have the character of providing kind of defensive capability. That is, it will harm any mobs that touch it. Drops are also exposed to the possibility of being destroyed if they fly out from their source and hit the cactus. But at the same time, you walk through a cactus farm, you can often find free mob drops there. So, cactus needs a purpose. And I have created a cactus farm in Alsea, but I wanted to create a more open, not exactly wild, but large-scale cactus farm, just for its own sake, for the aesthetics. So in round 26, I hope to achieve that, using some of the inspiration from my little rocky outcrop, which I will probably take apart. Anyway, we do have a couple of trail walks coming up. Oh no, we have one that we did, and one that we will be doing. In the darkness here, where that cloud is Edgewood Mountain. There's a trail that heads to the top, and there's another trail that heads to a point beneath the mountain. The last round 25, we took a trail walk on our completed Edgewood Mountain Trail up to the top, where a nice patch of red flowers grows. Alright, keep our eyes open here. Yeah, we're gonna have visitors. Might be good to move. Let's just move over here. I think I'll be safe. So anyway, in round 25, we walked our little trail off the Bellevue Mountains loop trail to the top of the mountain. In round 26, right in here, we're going to take an even shorter path to no less dramatic a view on the heart of the mountain trail. Short walk, no doubt, short episode. And to be ready to do that heart of the mountain trail walk, in round 25 we completed what I call the Heartless Viewpoint. And you can wait and see why that's what it's called. A little bit of lore is emerging in this region. Geological lore, that is. So, I'll save that. Alrighty, well, that's actually all of Bellevue. Let's head to Cascadia. Yeah, see that creeper right there. I'll take the Hobbit extension. What are we doing in Cascadia? Let's head to the port. It's hard to keep a boat moored to the landing. Mobs like to kick the boats. Anyway, Cascadia starts right on this ridge. We're pretty much done developing it. But I was doing a little bit of a point of interest survey along the Cascadia waterway, which is this area. And even though I'd walked over the ground before, I finally recognized that this area of the beach, with its sunken sands, was yet another example of a spawner close to the surface, a monster room. So in round 25, we excavated it, put a roof on it again, and we're going to develop this as yet another mob spawner farm. Just in the areas I've explored, I've discovered no less than 6 monster rooms attached to dungeons or beaches. Or I'm sorry, not dungeons, but mines or beaches. In the next round, we're going to build the elevator and access from the surface down. Not quite sure how we're going to accomplish all this. But this is actually a spider spawner. And I've done some experimentation in release 1.1's creative mode on how we can make an effective spider elevator, if that's even possible. Because of their horizontal extent, it's a little more tricky. Anyway, that'll be the goal. One of the tasks of round 26. See if we can accomplish a spider mob elevator in Alpha 1.1. Though overall, I try not to repeat myself in this game because I do so much that is in fact repetitive. I have just been too fascinated by building mob spawners to pass off any opportunity. Every single mob spawner I've found has been developed to some extent. So, I guess I'm just experiencing the joy of discovery, these relatively rare structures, and turning them into using some of Minecraft's most interesting mechanics with water and signs, turning it into a low-risk mob drop production facility. We're headed to Divide now. Divide is a mountainous region, what promises to be the center of our little domain. Way out here on the other side of the mountains, we are working on the art museum. Not only that, but the trail to it. Let's see what I can see about that. Let's see, where is it? Trail, there it is. In the previous round, sometimes my leveling doesn't work quite right. But I think I completed this trail. Oh no, wait. In the previous round, we had already had this trail completed. But I completed what's called a point of interest survey, where I walk along the trail and let's just walk along it. And I look for various things to build as a point of interest alongside the trail. That was done in round 25. And let's see, in round 26, you're going to be building a trail that goes up and into a cavern, comes out at the base of what I'm now calling the Lonely Chasm. We'll get a glance at that a little bit. So that'll be an interesting trail build coming off of this trail. I put some doors finally on the art museum. Alright, well, since this is a whole area in itself, this is our art museum so far. A long gallery that stretches along the base of Museum Mountain. And we simply added a few of these 1x2 paintings. Takes a bit of work. And we'll continue the same in round 26, going this way. Got a nice scenic view out this way. In fact, right here is our music disc farm, skeleton spawner farm I was talking about earlier. So, yeah, the work here continues. Should note that in the lit grove and along here is the route of the scenic railway. Now that we're on the backside of these mountains. So as the sun sets, let's move along here. Let's see, I think galleries. Yeah, I think that's it. On the top of the mountains, we have a trail system. A couple of trails. One that connects Divide to Bellevue, and another that makes a scenic loop around the tops of the mountains. The Divide Scenic Loop Trail. So we're doing builds, point of interest builds on there. And this is as good a spot as any to talk about those. Oh yeah. We rode a pig in round 25. I keep finding monster rooms, and I keep finding saddles in those rooms. You can't craft a saddle, of course, but you can put a saddle on a pig in Alpha 1.0 and 1.1. But that's it. There's no carrot on a stick. You can't direct the pig. You just sit on its back and, I guess, experience life from the point of view of a pig. I found a pig over here somewhere, put the saddle on one fine morning in the mountains, and I rode on its back until the sunset. Fortunately, he decided not to take a jump off the edge of the cliff, but gave me plenty of opportunity to think about that possibility. Alright, what do we got next? Let's talk about right here. This is a signpost marking where the Divide Scenic Loop joins up with the Bellevue Divide Trail. So right here in the dark is a lonely chasm viewpoint. Because right down here, the bottom of this steep slope, there's an even steeper drop. And what I call a chasm, which are relatively common in alpha. Just a depressed area in the middle of the mountains where you have much lower elevation. Oop. Okay. So we built that viewpoint as part of the development of, there he is, of the Bellevue Divide Trail. There's been a pretty extensive trail to build out. We are nearly done with it. We also put a sign at the top of this mountain, which I've decided to call Lonely Mountain. The sign just says that that's Lonely Mountain. I think I even put an elevation on it. The Y elevation. Alright, so on the Bellevue Divide Trail, we're going to be building something called Higher Pond. I think that will be right in here. Very small build. I won't be showing that because that's part of the trail building going forward. Also on the Scenic Loop Trail, Lonely Mountain, the trail moves this way. I think on the western, somewhere around in here, as part of the Lonely Cavern, or Chasm, I'm going to add Chasm Falls. So a little water will fall from above down into the chasm. So that'll be another build along the Divide Scenic Loop Trail. Okay, what else do we got here? That's it. That is it. Okay, I can see in my list just a moment where I changed the name slightly. Things didn't fit together. Anyway, let's head out. Well, you know what? This video has gotten quite long, and I do need to actually begin my real life day. So let's call it in favor of part 2. I don't mind that these videos might get a little longer, since we'll be cutting out so many videos showing trail building. Anyway, let's look for a good pick. It's kind of hard with a tree right behind me. So excuse my... the stars is a good subject. Let's do that. Just hunting blind up here in outer space. I'll let it moon drop a little first. So we'll pick this up in the second part. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next. Take care, and click.